Hello everyone, thank you're here, and today we're going to look at the game engine in depth. So this means how damage works, how do various stats like haste and slow interact, and how you can apply this to your gameplay to become the hero you're meant to be. Starting off, we're going to look at the attribute bonus sheet. Now, the basic attack damage is going to be simply attack subtracted by the enemy defense. Now, to see this, you have my Lucius, who has 685,000 attack, and we're going to match him against significantly weaker enemies. And as you'll see, he inflicts most of that damage through. Now, in Ranhorn Strife, you'll see enemies with about 1,000 defense. So my Lucius is going to go against them, and on his basic attack, as you'll see here, he'll inflict 684,000. Now, abilities work a little differently, and we'll look into them in just a moment, but as you can see, attack scales both basic attacks and abilities. So as you can see, Lucius's abilities scale with his own attack rating, and we'll later look about how does that ability scale with enemy defense. Now, the ability scaling is a little different. Ability is based on percents. So to see this, I'm going to take my Orthos. And my Orthos has much higher defense than the enemies we're going to match him with. So if the subtraction was taken play here, they'll do virtually no damage to him. But as we go to the peaks of time and we go to the solar plane, we have a very nice interaction in the enemy Isabella that's going to land an ability attack on my Orthos. So swapping him right in this position, you'll see that the Isabella is still able to inflict with her blast over here just a little bit of damage. You see that? She even crit my Orthos. And same for the Muriel too. Very nice to see. So abilities scale as a percent of attack as related to the enemy defense. Next, we'll look at how various stats can inflict that damage and interact with it. So as you can see on the Orthos ability bonus sheet, you'll see that attack and defense influence the basic attack and the abilities, but crit also does, as we saw in the replay. So crit rating is the percent that you have to crit. This affects some abilities, not all of them though. And in addition, you have additional stats like physical, magical resist, and life leech. So physical and magical resist are pretty simple to understand. This does not rely on ultimate or normal abilities like the stereotype says, but rather you have two types of damage in the game. You have physical damage that comes from physical gear heroes, and there's going to be magical damage that comes from mage heroes, as you can see. So all damage that comes from an attack to either one of my heroes after the attack and defense calculation is going to be reduced by the relevant resistance based on the enemy hero type. So if you're going to be attacked by a physical hero, the physical resistance is going to take place. Next, life leech. After all those calculations of physical resist, defense, all of that, life leech is going to affect how much you heal. Now, this is a pretty rare stat to see, but you still appreciate it. So gear is going to provide you with all these utility stats, and that's why gear still remains important even in the very late game, because those stats are very hard to acquire otherwise, even as you level your heroes. So you really want to keep an eye for the right gear for the right hero in the right time. Next, we're going to talk about dodge. Now, there was a Chinese research about dodge in a site called TapTap, and some of it was refuted, but we're going to look at what we precisely know. Lilith has confirmed that dodge is exponential, so there's no dodge value will get you to 100% dodge all the abilities and just carry away. But the first 50 points different in dodge is going to be much higher than the dodge in the higher estimates. So if you take your dodge higher from 100 to 150, that's less significant than 0 to 50. So we also know that having higher accuracy than your target's dodge means you won't miss a single attack. So for example, we're going to take my Orthos here again. Now my Orthos has very, very high accuracy. He has right here, we'll see, 610, so much higher than all the enemy dodge. And we're going to take him to fight a pretty long fight over here with my guildmate, and you'll see that he won't miss a single attack. And that's been confirmed across different researches and different people that looked in the game. And if you see anything different, please do let us know, because we are looking into this consistently. But as I find the right guild to challenge over here, definitely is going for pretty long over here, but we're gonna find the right guild to challenge. You'll see that dodge won't affect my Orthos at all at lower values. So any enemy that has lower defense and dodge than my offensive Orthos' accuracy is actually never going to be missed by Orthos. And I'm going to do it slow so that you see it, but I am going to enable ultimates. Pay attention to the Orthos' attacks as they come through. No dodges are going to be seen. Now we don't know the exact exponent, which means we don't know how much does dodge percent is going to increase with every point of dodge or accuracy that you have over the enemy. But we do understand how the exponent works, which means the very few first points of dodge are going to be much more impactful than the next, and then the next, and then the next, which means it's an investment that you want to accumulate. But on those lower values, it's going to benefit you much, much, much more. So for example, some heroes have no accuracy whatsoever. This means that Rowan, for example, you look at him, he has no accuracy as he increases his level. And this means that increasing dodge so it's slightly higher than his is going to open your opportunity to misses. Because as we saw, heroes with higher accuracy never miss, but Rowan can always miss with an accuracy as high level as he may be. So if we take, for example, Brutus over here, and there's going to be good advice, so pay attention here. Brutus's dodge is pretty low, it's at 30. But you can virtually increase it with all kinds of things. For example, Doer's Grace, this artifact gives 20 extra dodge. And just by having it, you'll see that Brutus's dodge increases. And at those differences, the first few points for the heroes that have no accuracy, it's going to matter a lot. And sometimes it's going to be the difference between passing and failing a certain campaign stage. And that's a good exploit that you'll want to remember. Good heroes with low dodge benefit from those little dodge bonuses that you get from gear and those that you get from equipment much more than those that have very high dodge. On top of that, and that's matchup specific, you're going to have haste. Now, haste is a thing that not many people understand completely, so I'm going to explain it here in depth. Haste and movement speed are the same. So if you see, my Rowan here has 20 or 19 movement speed as a result of his gear. So right now he has 34 haste, and as we remove that piece of gear, you'll see that now he has 19 points less. So haste and movement speed are exactly the same stat in that regard. And haste also does not change casting speed, unlike what's listed on the attribute bonus sheet. So that does not affect the casting speed, but rather the cooldowns. And I'm going to demonstrate this. So take, for example, Shamir. Shamir is a great hero. I'm going to remove most of her haste items, and right now she's going to be left with 6 haste, which is not that much. And we're going to take her yet again to fight one of my guildies so that you see how fast her ultimates cast. Now, as we go over here and we challenge the same guildie, you'll see here that once Shamir ults, and it's going to take a little, but I'm going to keep it on low speed while I talk so that you can see it happen, it's going to go at about the same speed of about 1 second. And that's going to be contrasted to those basic attacks and those cooldowns, which will benefit a lot from all those haste increases. Now pay attention to my Shamir ulting, that was the enemy Shamir. I'm going to haste it just a little so that we get to see it. Now, as you can see, a very slow cast. Now we're going to put on some haste items, and I want you to compare this casting speed to the older one. So we're going to give Shamira those boots over here. That's going to increase her movement speed. We're going to give her, on top of that, this Doer's Call artifact. And now she's going to hit much higher haste. So she should be 30% faster. And in her casting speed, you will see that the difference is not at all visible because it is not affected in any way. Going again to the guild, challenging the same guy. And here the ultimate I assume is going to go much faster. I'll just speed this up just for energy regeneration. The same kind of fight over here, and as you can see, the ultimate is going to be cast, and it's going to be extremely slow. Now that's what you want to remember on my Shamira. Haste does not increase casting speed. Now pay attention, it's going to be pretty quick, but it's important to see. Very slow ultimate, even with that extra haste. Okay, what haste does affect is going to be 2 things. It's going to be something that's not very known, which is going to be the cooldowns on certain abilities, and that's confirmed by Lilith through various means. And the next thing that it's going to increase is the attack speed, which means that the cooldowns benefit more ability-based heroes, while attack speed-based heroes, for example Athalia, benefit a lot from that haste bonus. Now, each point of haste in that we have confirmed increases attack speed and cooldowns by 1%. So the opposite of that is going to be slow, which means that your slow is going to be reduced from your haste value. And if you reach, for example, minus 50, your attacks are going to be 50% slower than they would be otherwise. And if you get plus 50, it's going to be 50% faster. Now, for this demonstration, we're going to see that haste is actually available as a stat in the game, and it's pretty accessible. So for example, celerity could increase your hero's haste by quite some. Possibly 140 points, for example, in the early game, this is 80 or 110, can increase your hero's attack twice-fold. And in sustenance, you have passive haste, just granted to all heroes, 15 here, for example. Other means you have to increase hero haste, which is going to be one of the best ways to improve your matchups, are going to be artifacts. So there's Dura's Call, which we saw, and Dura's Eye, which gives attack speed, and on top of that 20, and on top of that 25%. So the haste here is going to apply to the cooldown, while the attack speed is just flat attack speed. And Dura's Call. These are the ways to make your heroes faster, and it's extremely important with heroes that rely on fast basic attacks. For example, Aaron, where in his ultimate he wants the basic attacks to go as fast as possible to slow all enemies so that he can ult as fast as he can and generate that energy faster as well. Now, for that, I think it's very important to remember how haste works, how dodge works, how damage calculations work, and I think it's going to help you a lot if you take this and apply this to your game. This is mostly useful when you look at signature items. For example, some signature items that benefit haste are very good to upgrade, like Gwyneth's, so you'll want to focus her so that she gets extra movement speed, and in addition, choosing the right artifact for the right hero is going to be a big part of understanding where can extra dodge go, where can extra haste go, and this applies even in the very late game. For example, the Brutus example that I showed is that even very late game heroes do not benefit those stats passively. It's going to have 0 magic resist, it's going to have 3 haste, only 50 dodge even after the increase, so that's why you move gear around. That's why you want to pay attention to your artifacts, remembering that some heroes have 0% accuracy. And on top of that, you're going to pay attention to furniture and signature items that will help you increase the weak suits of a hero to fit the campaign stage. And with that, I was Linker, and I hope this helped you. It's a slightly shorter video than usual, but I think it touches topics that not many fully understand. And if you liked it, please let me know. Leave a like if you'd like, maybe even subscribe. It really helps me out just starting this channel. And I'd love to hear your opinions anywhere. I really take them into account, and I want to improve myself just based on what you say. You've helped me a lot in the recent videos. I think this one is better, but let me know what you think anywhere you'd like. Thank you very much.